Shalom, shalom, family. It is great to be able to talk to you all again. I want to bring on a serious topic today. Don't be tricked into bondage. Don't be tricked into bondage. You know, that is what happened when people practice magic. That is what happened. They get tricked into bondage and they don't realize it until it's too late. Now, you have to consider something here. When you practice any kind of magic, you could call it whatever name you want to call it. And you could call it white magic, where you only do good things. This is what you need to know. In the spiritual realm, there are only two powers: the power of the Most High God and the power of the adversary, the devil. So when you practice magic, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, that's what you're doing. You are using either God power, which, God regulate his power. He's not going to give you some kind of a ritual and tell you to do this ritual and this will work for you. No. There's God power and there's Satan power. When you work magic and things work for you, you maybe it's good. You're trying to get you a job. Okay, you would say that's a good thing. So you work a ritual, your magic, to help you get a job. You become reliant on that ritual to help you. This is where you start turning your head to for your help. And eventually it becomes your God. Because when you work your magic, you do rituals, there's got to be a power entity in there to carry out your bidding and what you're trying to do. So, God is not going to come in there and say, okay, I'll work for you. I'll do this for you through your magic. No, God doesn't work that way. But Satan will. Satan, demon spirits, and that's who you're using to carry out your mission, whatever you're trying to work out, whatever you're trying to do. It is the power of the devil that works it for you. Satan immediately works it for you to wean you in so he could trick you into bondage. Because after a while, you get it, after doing that for so long, you are in bondage to it. You become where you have to do it. There is no other way. For you to get peace, you must work this magic now. And Satan, he wean you in by making you feel powerful. Because when you work in something and it happened, you worked on getting your job and you really got the job. Oh wow, it makes you feel powerful. But it's the demon spirits, it's the evil spirits that are carrying out your mission when you work this magic. I have heard some say, well, I only do it to help myself. You see, God put this here for. No, God did not put that there. God did not put that magic there. God did not approve of Satan, define him, turning against him. Satan did that against the will of the Most High. So when you work your magic, it is Satan who's working it for you. There's only two powers in the spiritual realm. And one of those powers is going to carry out your mission. See, and we don't have to do a ritual to talk to our Father and have him to carry it out for us. We don't have to perform any kind of ritual or burn a candle or incense. We don't have to do anything. When you burn incense, that is acceptable to God because he says so in the word. And he loved the smell, certain smells. And when you pray and you burn your incense and pray, it goes hand in hand. You know, he loved that. He told Moses to burn incense on the altar. So I want you to be really sure on what you're doing. So, are you working with the power of God who don't need a ritual? Or are you working with Satan where you perform a magic ritual? Which one are you working for? Because many of you are going to be lost because of this magic. Let me read something to you here. Leviticus, the 19th chapter and the 31st verse. Do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek them out, and so make yourselves unclean by them. I am the Most High, your God. So when you work in that, it makes you unclean because, first of all, you're putting faith in another idol. You're putting faith in that, whatever you're doing, you're putting faith that it'll work for you and it'll make something happen. Leviticus 20 verse 6. If a person turns to mediums and necromancers, whoring after them, I will set my face against that person and will cut him off from among his people. God is totally against you working magic. He's totally against it. Because when you work magic, and especially if you're doing it for someone else, you're giving the faith that they should have in God, you giving them another idol to worship. You might say, oh no, they don't worship it. I just do this because this person needed my help and I helped them. I helped them whatever way you help them. You have to remember where the power is coming from. The power is coming from Satan. It doesn't matter what kind of spell you use or what kind of magic you use or how much or how little or whatever. You are turning to an idol God. That will become your God and you will be tricked into bondage and it will be so difficult for you to get out. God do not want you working magic. He want you to ask him. If you have a little patience, since you've come back to the Most High God, ask him whatever it is you want or trying to do. Talk to him. He want you to have faith in him. And one thing I do know, he listens to you. He acknowledges you, especially you. I'm speaking to those who have come back to their true love, who have come back to the Most High God, and who are trying to do all of his laws and statutes, who are trying to do his will. So if you are a Hebrew Israelite who are trying to do the will of the Most High God, then don't work any kind of magic. You could take cleansing baths. There's nothing wrong with herbal baths. There's nothing wrong with burning incense, of any kind of incense you want to burn. But when you start making things happen, going further than that, burning the candle and whatever else you have to do to make something happen, you have to know that you are working for Satan, not God. You could call it, oh, it's good things. I'm only doing good things and God put this here for us to do. No, God did not put it here for you to do. This the works of the devil. It's the works of your adversary. I'm speaking to all you so-called Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. You are not to work any kind of magic of any sort. When you need help, you need to have faith enough to believe that your God will answer you. You don't take the faith and put it on something else. And that is like saying, well, God too busy. He put this here for me to help myself. No, you can you could call it whatever you want to call it. You could say anything you want to say. But I'm telling you the truth here, people. Stop working the magic. Stop right now while you can. Get out of that and come back to the true God. Come back to the Almighty God, the one who's been watching over you from day one, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God that we serve. You come back to Him. Have faith that He will answer you and see you through. I'm going to read Deuteronomy 18th chapter in the 9th verse. Yes, I'll read that. No. First, I'm going to read Isaiah, the 8th chapter in the 19th verse. Isaiah. And when they say to you, inquire of the mediums and the necromasters who chirp and mutter, should not a people inquire their God? Should they inquire of the dead on behalf of the living? Do you understand what he's saying here? That you have to ask your ancestors or your grandparents or whomever passed away that you're trying to bring back, that you have to go to them, which has passed on, they're dead. And you got to ask them something about the living? This is what this scripture is saying. Why not go to your God? Why not ask God? Why are you going to the dead? You don't know who you're conjuring up when you conjure up your so-called ancestors or have a medium to bring back your uncle or grandfather. Let me tell you something. You're dabbling in something that can pull you in so deep that you may not be able to get out. Stop the magic. Stop working magic. You're using the power of Satan, not God. There's only two powers in the spiritual realm. There's only two powers. Oh, there's all kind of workers of that power, but there's only two kind. Satan or the Most High God. Deuteronomy 18th chapter, and I'm going to read from the 9th to the 12th verse. When you come into the land of the Most High your God that He has given you, you should not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. That's why He didn't want us mixing with the nations, because we'll start doing their abominable things that they do. So He's saying, be careful. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or daughter as offering, also who practices divination or tells fortunes or interpret omens or sorcerer or charmer or medium or a necromancer or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Most High God. You hear that? You are an abomination to God if you practice working these magics. And because of these abominations, the Most High your God is driving them out before you. Yes. He's going to drive it out, and He's going to cut out witchcraft before it's over. And you make sure you're not one of those who are going to fall with the witchcraft workers. Acts 19:19. And a number of those who had practiced magic arts brought their books together and burned them in the sight of all. And they counted the value of them as found it to come to 50,000 pieces of silver. So when when people, these magic workers, learn that God, this is against God, they came together and they burned all their magic books. They burned all of the things that they were using to work their magic. They burned it because they found out that it is an abominable thing. It's against God. So if you're doing it, burn them, burn those books. Don't continue doing that. God does not want you burning candles and doing rituals. He does not want you to do those things. Okay, I'm going to read Micah. Micah. And I will cut off sorcery from your hand, and you shall have no more tellers of fortunes. He said he's going to cut it off, and he will. First Chronicle 10:13 to 14th verse. Well, this is about Saul. You know, Saul consulted a medium, and Saul died, and his sons died a horrible death. So I'm not going to read that one. I did talk about that one in another video that I did, but I'm going to go on to Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47. Now, therefore, it's Isaiah 47, verse 8 to 14. Now, therefore, hear this, you lover of pleasures, who sit securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one beside me. Yeah, witchcraft workers brag on themselves. They become powerful under Satan. And when you owe Satan, when he worked for you, you never can pay him. It's like joining the mob. You're going to always owe Satan. He's going to always claim you. It's going to be more, the longer you stay into this magical thing, doing sorcery, magic, witchcraft, whatever you call it, you're getting deeper into Satan debt. Who say in their hearts, okay, no one beside me. I shall not sit as a widow or know the loss or know the loss of children. These two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day. The loss of children and widowhood shall come upon you in full measure, in spite of your many sorceries and the great power of your enchantments. You felt secure in your wickedness and sorcery, and the great power of your enchantments. Uh, you said, no one sees me. Yeah, because when you work that magic, it's a secret. No one know that you're doing it. You don't know that they know. So you feel like you feel free. You can do all this magic and hurt people, help people, whatever you want to do, and they won't even know you're doing it. So you felt secure in what you were doing. It says, um, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge led you astray. And you said in your heart, I am, and there's no one beside me. But evil shall come upon you, which you will not know how to charm away. Disaster shall fall upon you, for which you will not be able to atone, and ruin shall come upon you suddenly, of which you know nothing. Stand fast in your enchantments and your many sorceries, with which you have labored for your youth, from your youth. Perhaps you may be able to succeed. Perhaps you may inspire terror. Yes, inspire terror. because that's what it mounts up to. You will never have a good ending to this. When you work magic, there is never a good ending to it. You always end up the loser. And first of all, when you work magic, all of that evil, all those demon spirits, all those evil spirits, all those entities that you use to do your bidding in working your magic, they will return to you. And they will bring chaos upon you. And you will suffer the consequences of it. So I'm telling you, my people, if you are dabbling in magic of any kind, stop it. Stop it. You have faith, more faith in your God. Because those who work magic and those who consult with the dead encounter of the living to help the living, it's an abomination. You don't even need that because you are being tricked into bondage under Satan. And in the end, you lose. So, people, I'm telling you, please stop working the magic. It doesn't worth it. And it may help a little. Maybe you've done something, made things happen, with the power of the devil. But it's not too late to turn around. Turn around from that so you could have your true power. You'll never be able to reach your spiritual manifestation, your spiritual heights until you learn to trust the Most High God completely. Completely. You must trust the Most High God completely, not partly. He didn't give us witchcraft. He didn't give it to you. You took it upon yourself. That is of the devil, and it's clear in his word. It's very clear. Maybe those who are under Jesus can work that magic and it's okay with their God. But it's not okay with the Most High God. The Most High God wants us to be pure and virgins. Do you know what that means? To be a virgin to the Most High? That means you take no idols. You pray to no idols. You have faith in nothing else but Him, not in some idol or ritual or something you've conjured up or asked your ancestor. Because when you asking your ancestor, you're actually talking to demons who have lived in them. Your ancestors cannot come back to answer you. The demonic spirits that lived in them are the ones that are going to answer you when you do mediums or you consult in your ancestors. Those are not your real ancestors that bring in you messages. Those are the spirits of the devil. So I'm going to say again, people, and you may get angry at me, but I have to keep it real because it is what it is. I can tell you nothing else but truth. And if I don't tell you, it's on me. But I told you, whether you accept it or not, or believe it or not, it's up to you now where you go and what you do with this. But you must read the scripture, see that you're wrong. There's no straddling the fence. You can't straddle. Either you with him or you against him. There is no in between. So stop the magic and come back to the Most High God, your God. You don't need it. You don't need magic. You have something much more powerful than magic. You have the Most High. And I want to say Shalom. It was great speaking with you again, family. And don't be mad at me. I'm only telling you the message that come from God and His Word. I'm only telling you what He said. You can't twist it and make it another way. That's what the Christians did. They twisted under Christianity to have another meaning. But we must be real. We must come right and straight up. We must understand and do what the most High God said. We must understand it and we must do it. He said, if you love me, you will follow my commandments. Shalom.